Hello.
Hello!
Oh my goodness.
That was very loud.
You're trying to really bring the energy, aren't you? What was I thinking of? Deja. What did we watch?
I don't remember that episode, but we were watching Ruby.
I mean, I think it was like 6 and 7. Yeah, it was 6 and 7 because we did episode 4 and 5 as one. And that served as our episode 4. So now episode 5 will be 6 and 7. We know math.
Beautiful.
Isn't that math? Where do we start? We start with Yang.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Yeah.
She's in the forest.
Yeah.
What's she doing, Deja?
Fighting Grimm.
I mean, no, she's walking around, looking for people, looking for her sister.
Alright, but I'm not entirely wrong.
No, she gets to fighting Grimm.
Mm.
She fights 3 little bears, Deja. Get it? Aha!
Is that what that was?
Yeah. Because she's Goldilocks, get it?
Yeah, I know that.
So, she fights 3 bears. I mean, Oswald started sipping. She fights 2 bears because they mess up her hair and she gets
That's why I didn't make the connection, because there's only 2 bears.
Yeah, well, she gets royal upset at the first 2. And the third one shows up. And then who also shows up, Deja?
There's a third one?
Yeah.
That was the third one?
That was the third one.
I am completely
Turned around.
gone.
Yeah.
But then we see Blake.
You see Blake. Blake stabs him in their back. There's a fan thing I saw a while ago that I liked about that particular scene, where it's like, I mean, we never saw Blake in the last 2 episodes, the ones in our previous episode, but I mean, her whole thing is being sneaky. She's a ninja. She's a lingerie ninja.
Please never say that again.
That's what I've seen her volume 1 outfit described as.
Please never say that again.
Okay.
You didn't have to say it
I didn't have to say it here.
Not at all.
Okay.
I would have been perfectly fine if I had never heard that.
Well, that goes for a lot of things. Anyway. But yeah. She shows up and it's like her whole thing is stealth. So she easily could have stayed hidden. But I guess she was just like, you know what? If I'm going to have a partner, might as well be Yang. So, maybe she was out of choices. Maybe she was just like, I've seen some real dopes on this mission. Let's choose Yang instead. At least she's hot. But yeah.
All right.
Am I wrong?
I didn't say a word. All I did was say all right.
And then don't we skip to Weiss and Ruby fighting some monsters? Also fighting Grimm.
Yeah, but it doesn't go as great.
No, it goes pretty. They're not a good duo. Not yet. Power crawl. That's what it's all about, Deja. Yeah. I think this is a good illustration of like what Rice is trying to do, and kind of a hint at like some volume 3 stuff with her sister, which I don't think is a spoiler because we're not really getting into what her sister is like. But you know how she shows up and she's like, "You're sloppy," blah 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. And she's from Atlas and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Weiss is constantly trying to be like that. And I think, if anything, it makes her worse in combat in this instance. Because she literally, like, takes a minute to adjust her stance. And she's like, okay, put your foot out. Not that far out. And then she changes it. And then she finally decides to go and kill a monster. And she ends up knocking into Ruby. Oh, my goodness. Are you dying? It's okay. Deja, are you still with us?
No.
Okay.
Oh, my God. What is... I don't know what happened, but that was weird.
Oh my god. I was thinking of. But yeah, they start bickering. Because Weiss fucking burns down a forest. And this is the fucking second time she destroys property.
Yeah.
Deja, why is she out here destroying the property?
Because she's too all in her head.
Honestly. All in her head about explosives. For someone all in her head.
She's like, even though I have these explosives, I'm not going to use my brain and be aware of what these explosives can do.
No. I'm just going to fucking try and be on point, I guess. Whatever. Doesn't matter. So we go from that. And then there's the whole scene with Jean and Pyrrha. Oh my goodness. We can't do this every time, Deja.
I love her.
Because, I mean, you're right. But
Have you seen her?
They're walking.
Like, oh my god.
Oh my goodness. They're walking through the forest. and just trying to be like, and I love how Pyrrha says this. John's like, what's that? And she's like, gunshots. Our comrades have engaged the enemy. like so fucking just like, our comrades have engaged the enemy. And Pyrrha's not like that most of the time. Like, I guess in combat, kind of. But she's usually really laid back for how much of a professional athlete she is. Are you really looking at my rabbit right now?
No, because I'm like, did he munch on that?
You what? Munch on what?
The container.
Yeah. He munches on his litter box for whatever reason.
Fully has a chunk off of it.
Yeah. But anyway, then Pyrrha fully whacks John with a stick. Just lets him really have it.
A tree branch.
A tree branch.
Oh, on purpose.
Not on purpose, but it could be. It should be. Anyway.
Should be?
just really whack him. Whack 'em, sack 'em, Johns.
And then we get a lesson on auras.
Yes, and it's explaining. We get this interstitched with,
Ren.
Yeah, Ren fighting a Grimm, which I should look up the name of. I'll do that in a minute. But, he's fighting it as Pierre is explaining auras, and I guess he's using his aura, which gives him superpowers, because everyone's got superpowers, to fight this big old double. It's like, I'm trying to describe it properly, because it's not just like wolf or bear. It's a big old snake, much bigger than a human, and it's black and white, and both sides have a head. One of the heads is black, one of them's white, and he's fighting them, and Pyrrha's all like, monsters don't have souls because they're monsters, and we have souls because we're humans, so we can use our souls to fight monsters. And John's just looking at her titties.
Right.
There's that comic where it's like, wow, Pyrrha, maybe you should have I don't know, some armor that covers a vital area, which is constantly exposed for you, which is her chest.
If you don't have a titty out, have a titty out.
Titty out. Get that titty out. Get that fucking... Make sure your titties show through your armor. This is the most important thing. There's a whole... I've seen a fucking whole essay on titty armor. And it's like, that would hurt so much if you got hit in the armor. Because the way it's designed is there's basically like a blade pointed into your chest. Yeah. Where the titties meet. Yeah. It's not good. I agree with that.
I don't know why they do that.
For titties, obviously.
What do you mean for titties? Why would you have a little pointy?
For the titties? To conform it to the titties.
I don't know if we're imagining the same thing.
Probably not. But either way, even if it's just regular plate armor and just got globules on it, just half globes, where the titties would be, there's still a point where it goes inward, which would be better to hit. It gives a target to hit, when you can just make it one big flat curved thing, if you even need it to be curved in the first place. But anyway, Pyrrha finishes explaining auras, giving us that lore. We explained these in the first episode, so it's cool. And she does a poem, which we never hear again. She does a poem to him.
It was a poem?
No, it was something. It was a monologue. And
a sonnet.
Yeah, exactly. I think it probably ties in with how she was trained and raised, because she's not from around these parts.
Right.
Am I wrong?
Right.
Am I wrong?
All right.
But she unlocks John and makes a comment about him having a lot of it, which will come into play later, I guess. It comes into play a couple times, but it's mostly just kind of one of the things that makes him special. And then Ren gets done killing that fucking big old snake, and we hear a distant calling of a sloth. It is Nora, who pokes down from a tree, and she and Ren find each other because destiny. And Ren is like, I still don't think the sloth makes noise. And then Nora boops him on the nose.
Just a little boop.
Yeah, just a little boop. Just a little boop. And that's the end of that episode. But we're not done. We're not
Ta-da.
Ta-da!
Are
But
you doing trivia all together?
all together.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Don't. Hey. Don't
See,
get.
I'm on the ball this time.
Don't-
Woo!
Don't get your titties in a twist. We still got more to go.
Titties in a twist.
In a whole twist.
Titties in a twist.
That's-
Like a pretzel knot.
Exactly. And in armor, that would be painful. So we move on to the next episode, which once again, being part 2, is just a fucking continuation of this one. And Glinda walks to the edge of the cliff.
Glinda!
We can't do this every time you think a woman is pretty.
We're doing it every time.
We're not doing this.
Yes, we are.
Babe, there will be whole episodes where you're just screaming every 5 seconds.
I'm not gonna scream every time, but like I'm gonna scream when I see him because that's my way.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They'll show up like one after another, and you'll just keep going and going and going and going. Am I wrong?
Is there really that many of them in the scene together?
I mean, it'll get there. But so Glinda walks up to a cliff, and
If I
she's
don't
not trying
scream
to.
it, I'll say it.
Okay.
I'll just say it.
I mean, I think that was you saying it to begin with.
I'll
Glinda,
still find a way to mention it somehow.
Glinda walks up to a cliff.
I'm gonna find a way to talk about my wife.
I know you will. And she's not about to throw herself off. She's given the deets to Ozpin. Which, does she hand him the pad, or is he already holding the pad?
I thought he had his own. No, he doesn't have one.
Okay, because I was about to say,
Glinda-
if he had his own, it'd be wild for her to walk up and be like, so here's the details. And he's like, I'm watching it right now. But she's like...
Because he was just looking out on the cliff. And then...
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So Glinda walks up and hands him a pad. And she's like, the last pair has been formed. I guess Ren and Nora were really... Ren was lonely.
I think
he was looking for Nora.
I mean, I don't know. He just seems like the type to be like okay on his own for at least a little bit.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of part of his character. But then Glinda's like, that poor boy. I can't imagine he'll like Nora. Not recognizing that they came to Beacon together and are lifelong friends already before going through training. But Ozpin's only interested in one kind of pair, which is Ruby and Weiss.
The disaster pair.
The disaster pair. They'll get along eventually. That's the point of the show.
Terrible twos.
The terrible twos. Is Ruby and Weiss. And Weiss is just being a brat. Like...
Let's go this way. Let's go that way. I know which way to go. Woo!
She wicked doesn't. And, like, don't get me wrong. Ruby's not great on a team yet either. But Weiss is, like, anti-team entirely. That's even part of, like, season 1. Of her just, like, not being into the team at all. Which, I mean, she should know, based on her background, she should know that's totally a part of... I mean, she literally says it. She tries to bring it up with Pyrrha. Like, y'all want to be on a team together? And Pyrrha's like, I don't think that works. And Weiss is like, because she's horny for Pyrrha. Am I wrong? Am I wrong, though?
I mean, who wouldn't be?
Oh, my goodness, Deja.
What? What?
John's fine.
Never mind. Never mind. Because I was like, you literally just said it in this podcast that he was looking at her titties.
That doesn't mean he's horny for her. He can platonically look at some titties.
All right, whatever.
Uh-huh. Anyway, what was I thinking of? Yeah, they're just
stupid.
They're oh my goodness. So Ruby and Weiss are just trying to find their way through the forest, and they start arguing. And Ruby calls Weiss a brat, and she is. Weiss is like, "You're young," which I think is her only insult to Ruby, is that she's young and fast. Which, I mean, like, yeah, I guess that's an insult. But they keep making their way through the forest, and a big old feather falls down behind them. What-oh? What's that?
Where that's from?
Where's that big feather? It's the size of a tree. Oh no. And as they continue, we cut to the actual forest temple, which is where Yang and Blake have made it, because they're legitimately the best like duo we've seen so far, which is a little shocking.
Why is it shocking?
I don't know, because I mean I feel like the first encounter they ever have, like Yang's friendly at first, but then she kind of acts like Blake is a little stuck up, which, to be fair, she doesn't know much about Blake yet, so I think that's the persona Blake is trying to you know, give out. But yeah, they're getting along, and they've made it to the Forest Temple. And then we cut back to Jean and Pyrrha, who are like, "We have found the Forest Temple," and it's just a cave. I don't know why either of them thought it was the Forest Temple. It's just a cave. And they walk in, and John's got a torch, and he's like, "I have made a torch. I have fire."
Out of thin air.
Out of thin air. I mean, here I thought that, but then I was like, wait, they have dust. Well, Pyrrha has dust, because John just has the sword and shield. So, what was I thinking of? So, I imagine they just had to pick up a stick and then tap a rock against it. And they're like, skidoo! And then they have a torch. Also, I think this is the first... I guess we can go to this in trivia. But I think this is the last episode we covered, which is just this episode. I think this is the first time we see Gamble Shroud, Blake's weapon. Because the other time... no, because she has it in the parking lot. But she's not using it. Hopefully. Anyway. But John finds a glowing thing, which is clearly not a relic. And he grabs onto it, and it lifts him up, and it's a giant scorpion. A grimm scorpion. Which chases Pyrrha out of the cave with John attached to its tail. And John starts crying. Because he is a woman. He is a woman.
Yang says, "There's a girl in danger."
There's a girl in danger. Yeah, John yells, and Yang's like, "A girl's in trouble." And then we see John, and then Peter's like, "Don't let go," and John lets go, which flings him across the forest. And man, it's a wicked good thing he unlocked his aura, because he would have died. And like, you know, Yang and Blake are trying to... We're doing this a little out of order, but Yang and Blake are looking at the relics. And, I mean, we have to highlight this, because the relics are chess pieces. And Yang holds one up, and it's the night, and she's like, "Let's get a pony!" And then Blake smiles. And I think this is the first time we see her smile in the entire fucking series. Because the rest of the time, she's neutral at best. So, yeah. But anyway, Yang's got their relic. They're just hanging out in the real Forest Temple. And we expect John to come falling out of the air. But out of nowhere, Ruby comes diving downwards. And that's where we end the episode. Not knowing
Ta-da.
Ta-da! Not knowing how Ruby got, I guess, altitude, upward momentum. But, yeah, there it is. So, Dage, what did you think of these two episodes / just episode?
Saw my wife.
It's all your wife. Blake smiled.
Yeah.
Blake smiled is wholesome. It's very good. It was just like, it was like a little one. She likes Yang.
Yeah.
I thought about this because there are developments in the later volumes, but like, I feel like I've gone back and tried to look at their initial chemistry, because Ruby and Weiss already have the thing of like, we hate each other, but we have to work together, and that's a trope. That's a TV trope if I've ever seen one. But like, Blake and Yang, I'm like, where do they get along? And they get along, especially in season 2. But yeah. So, is that all we have to talk about for the episode?
I think so.
Glinda.
Stop.
Stop.
Glinda.
Stop.
Ah!
We are barely getting any more of, what is it?
Glinda.
No. Stop. We're not Nora. They'll become major players, but they have been in like 2 scenes so far. Yeah, it takes a minute.
It takes a moment to get
They got to meet up with the rest of the main cast. Otherwise, they are just secondary characters.
Also, this is... What's the word? Off topic, but it's on my mind. Were you still doing housekeeping stuff? Because I know you
Yes,
always forget.
thank you. You're so nice. This is the one episode I didn't start with housekeeping. And housekeeping.
I just remembered it midway through, and I was like, wait, I need to
wait.
this.
But yeah. Deja, it's time for your favorite part. 1, 2, 3.
I almost fucked that up.
It's time for trivia.
Woo! Woo! I just wanted to see the little blue block.
Oh my fucking god, dude. We wicked can't do that. There's not a lot of trivia for this. I get the first piece of trivia is Nor's sloth call is a bird call.
Oh.
Oh.
I feel like that's gonna be very annoying.
It's already. Also, I'll do this first because I feel like it's trivia that I could have touched on but haven't so far, which is that like a lot of these are retold in the Ruby manga that came out, and some people like the manga. A lot of people like the comics better, and the comics are made by DC. The manga is made by Viz Media. So yeah, it's like the events of the Emerald Forest are retold in the first half of Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 of Ruby, the official manga. And the manga has good art, at least, if nothing else. I have some of them. But the real other trivia I was going to say is that the big snake thing is called a king taijutsu. I'm white. Taijutsu. And that's not the trivia. Yes.
Said white man, white boy.
Stop. But like the trivia is like the color scheme reflects the concept of light and darkness, which coincidentally is the topic John appeared. What?
I said yin and yang.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like yes, no offense. Like
As
I know
Pure was talking about light and dark.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing, right? It's like I'm not gonna pretend Ruby's the deepest fucking episode in the world, but I mean the deepest TV show in the world.
Consideration.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's like that should be obvious. Like people should be able to pick up on that. And let's go to the second episode, which I gotta.
Oh.
Is there any trivia? When John and Pierre approach the cave pictures could be seen to the right of the cave, depicting a battle between a group of warriors and a Deathstalker. I did point that out. Also,
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, the scorpion is called a Deathstalker. Which wow.
What a name.
An emo man named that. Back in prehistoric times, an emo huntsman.
Back in prehistoric times.
Okay. Well, actually, we know what happened in prehistoric times in Ruby, but I guess in historic times, hundreds of years ago, people were naming Grimm, and an emo man found a giant scorpion and was like, "It will be called Deathstalker, my favorite metal band." It was Shadow the Hedgehog. Shadow the Hedgehog is canon in Ruby lore.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. According to Miles Luna and Carrie Shawcross, who are the two main writers besides Monty Oum, in the director's commentary, originally there was going to be a relic inside of the Deathstalker stinger, but they decided against that. Yeah, how the fuck would they do that? Would Ozpin, with his bare hands, have to peel it open, just go up to that scorpion, punch it in the face, because he is the headmaster. So he goes up, he punches it in the face, and knocks it out for a hot minute. I'm not even sure if he can do that to Grimm without just killing him. Peels its tail open, shoves a chest piece inside, which is also wild, and then stitches it up, and it's like, yep, the kids are gonna love this. That's a wild idea. And then literally the only other trivia is the same thing of what was I thinking of? The same thing. It was like, it's retold in the manga, and I was like, we know already.
You see my wife though?
Yeah, and then they got pictures, and it's got Deja's, you got Pyrrha and Glinda in it. Actually, it's pinned. Oh yeah, Glinda's up here.
At the top. That's who I saw first.
That's who you saw first.
Yep.
What else was I thinking
I always got my eyes out.
What?
I said I always got my eyes out.
No, eyes out for your wives.
Eyes out, tits out.
Yeah.
I'm hilarious.
I'm hilarious, and my titties are out.
I remember yesterday I was in the car with my family, and like I had said a joke like at dinner, and my mom was just like so zoned out she didn't get the joke. And I remember when we were in the car, I was like, "You missed my joke earlier. I'm over here telling A1 jokes," and she was like, "Really?"
Are you? I don't know. I'm not about to go with this.
What, my A1 jokes?
I'm not going to make a comment on your A1 jokes. But yeah, we got like one episode until shit gets real. The realest shit in Ruby, which is going to be fun. I think the next couple episodes are going to be longer just because they don't want to. It's mostly action. They didn't want to break up the action. So, you know how it is. But yeah.
How it be.
Also, I want to talk about this real quick. So, okay, well, let's start this. The wolf grimm are called... What? Go on.
No, you can... I remembered I had a question because I couldn't remember, but okay. You can...
I have two things.
Mm-hmm.
So, the grimm names. The wolves are Beowulfs, which we may have covered. The bears are Ursas. The snake thing is a word I can't pronounce. And the scorpion's a Deathstalker. The first two are, like, fantasy. Deathstalker is just emo. Maybe it's not. Maybe someone will let me know. But, also, it took me so long to figure out how fucking Gamble Shroud works, Blake's weapon. Mm-hmm. It does so many fucking things. Like, most Ruby weapons are 2 things at most. Sometimes they're only 1. Kind of like, John's is 1.5. Because it's like a sword and a shield, but the shield folds up, which isn't useful at all. But go on.
I don't know why you said John, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why I pictured Ren in my head. I was like,
John.
I was like, hold on a second.
I know him well with his purple hair, more like purple streak. But Gamble Shroud, it's so you can literally just leave it in a sheath and it's a big meat cleaver basically because the sheath is a sword. Mm-hmm. Then you take it out of the sheath and it's a katana, like a traditional katana. It's a little short. But then you can have 2 weapons while you're backhanding the sheath, which has a handle to be a sword, and have the katana. Then you can fold up the katana to just have the gun function, which is like a Glock, which I think there's a bitch man later who has just a gun. I was like, is Blake the only one who just has like a handgun? And it's like no. And I don't know how Blake fucking decided this should work, but it has the Glock handle of the katana, which is once again another wild thing to say, has a ribbon going down from it, which apparently can extend, which he can throw while the katana is folded up to make it a chain sickle. That's so much. That's so many things. I messed a lot of that up, but that's so many things. And the first thing we see it as isn't even the katana. She uses it as like the throwing chain sickle to kill the Ursa. What?
Chain sickle.
That's what I call them. They have a wait. Let me see, because it has. I remember, because Blake was in Death Battle recently, and she won. Spoilers. Oops. But and also I guess don't watch that if you don't want spoilers for Ruby. But let's see.
Oops, the podcast where we talk about a TV show has spoilers. Woo!
Well, I mean, the Death Battle has spoilers we haven't covered yet. Scythe with chain. Yeah, this thing. Kusara.
Take your time, babe.
Kusarigama. I definitely fucked that up. But yeah, it's this thing. It's that too, which is a wild weapon. I used to do martial arts, and they had kids practicing with those. Granted, it was an older kid, but still. Anyway, what was your thing? You had a thing.
Was it a real sharp blade?
No, it was a fake one, but still, it's.
I would have enjoyed it if it was a real blade.
I mean, they did have real blades for like the actual. I mean, because they have I don't want to say showcases, and it's not a showcase. It's not a tournament.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a martial arts thing. Yeah, but it's still wild where it's like like you can train kids with a lot of things in martial arts, but to do it like here's a scythe connected to it. If I don't care what world we live in, if I walked up on someone on the streets and they pulled that thing out, I'd be like, okay, you can have my wallet and I'll turn right the fuck around because I'm not messing with that. Are you kidding me? But what's your thing?
Oh, so I was thinking about this the other day and I was like, how characters like in like cartoons or whatever, especially in here,
yeah,
they have like a set like costume or outfit they wear.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what would yours be?
So it rips off on because spoiler alert, they do change outfits in this show. Granted, for story beats, not daily, but I mean they do. They have school uniforms.
Oh yeah.
Which is weird because they have entire beats where they're like, okay, change out of your school uniforms to get into your battle uniforms, and I was like, it's like at that point, just let the kids dress how they want because apparently you need them to switch on the fly to kill things. I think it would kind of like it rips on a later outfit of Yang's, but I'd kind of want like a bomber jacket, like a bomber hat. I'd honestly kind of look like a, because we talked about this before, the kind of weapons we'd want, and like I'd want the Bloodborne one, so I think mine would almost look like a fucking like an old English fucking person, where I have like a, you know, I wear a Jeff cap sometimes, so I'd have that and like a bomber jacket, and I guess like a good, maybe like a, I don't want to say like a skin tight shirt, but like, you know, like kind of like a body. You know how like you've never seen Evangelion, have you?
No.
But they got like the suits they wear to pilot the mechs. I feel like I'd have one of those underneath, and I'd have like, you know, pants and everything with the anime zippers and chains on them, and I guess like a belt for all the dust and stuff, and boots. You get what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
I feel like it would look a little more like military than most of the kids in the show, but I think that kind of fits with me when I'm trying to be like a bit more like realistic and practical than some other outfits. Have you thought about what your outfit would look like?
Yes, indeed, I have.
Oh my goodness.
That's why I had this question.
I was going to detail this whether you had one or not. Anyway, go on.
Hold on. I'm gonna sidetrack because it reminds me of when I was listening to a podcast, and then one of them had like asked a question, and they like avoided the question. They didn't avoid the question, they answered, and then it was like the end of the conversation. And then the other one was like, "Aren't you gonna ask me?" And they were like, "I asked these questions so you can ask me. I don't care about your answer." And I was like,
I feel like that's really what you bring to this show, though. Is that you're like, what about this question?
It's like, I want to talk about what I have to
say. No, I'm saying like you do a good job at fucking look at sweet Ruby comic.
Look at the gaze.
Look at the gaze.
The gaze.
The gaze.
But I feel like I would wear something very on brand, very gothic. And
black.
I'm like debating on like if I want like a full suit or if I just want like if I want to do like a collared shirt and then like a kind of like a corset vest on top and then just like black pants and boots.
That's kind of like Blake has that like kind of outfit in Volume 2. They don't change outfits in Volume 2, but they have like stealth outfits. And she kind of has like a puffy shirt with a collar and everything. So I can see what you mean.
Yeah. But very gothic, very Victorian.
So we're both just fucking like, hello. Like I look like someone from fucking World War II England, and you're full Victorian. We're like, hello. What's all this then? It was like, what's all this then? We're here to kill some grimm, whatnot. I want everyone to know that was a purposely bad accent. I know I can't do an English accent. Before we close out, I was playing Sea of Thieves with some of my friends recently, and you know, I forget how we got on the topic, but we were talking about bad English accents, right? And you know how everyone's like, "Waddle bottle," that kind of thing. Like we just kept doing it until it was like super loud and obnoxious, and I was like, okay, who's a British actor? And I was like, John Boyega. He was in Star Wars. You know, the one stormtrooper from the new one. You'd recognize him. Here's the problem. I don't want to say the black one, but it is that. You know what I mean? Because even if you look at all the, I guess except Mace Windu, but if you look at all the Star Wars main cast, he's like one of the only people of color in the entire cast. But you know who I'm talking about now?
You said the name and I thought it was him, but I was like,
but he's British. And I was like, I wish John Boyega was like, he's going into a part, they need an English accent. He's like, I'm perfect for this. And he just walks into a room filled with men, and they're just calling, what, just repeatedly, just practicing it, thinking that's all they need to do English accent, and then he goes into the casting room, and then they're like, could you make it a little more European? And then he's just like, what? And then they're like, perfect, you've got it. So yeah, I guess our Ruby characters are people with really bad English accents. You know something I realized?
What?
Closing this out for real.
Thank God.
They don't have accents in Ruby, which I kind of appreciate, because it'd be really weird if you just... Oh, wait, they do. There's a one-off character that has an English accent. Damn it, Ruby. I was trying to give you credit, and you broke your own rules. Because let's think about that, because connecting to Star Wars again, Obi-Wan has an English accent, right? And I was like, so that means there's a planet filled with humans, and they all have English accents. So where the fuck is the English planet? And that was what I was thinking with Ruby. There's not an English-speaking, kingdom, but I guess there is, because one-off character has an English accent. Rip my dream. But anyway, it was fun to do another podcast with you, Deja.
Did you still have housekeeping?
I do stuff. Thank you. So yeah, housekeeping I've teased for 2 episodes now is the thing that we put 1 episode up on Spotify. Clap, 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 clap. But here's the problem. That one was free, and the rest we have to consistently pay for if we want to put it up on Spotify. So I guess if you want them on Spotify, it's not a big deal. We don't care. But if you want it on somewhere like that, let us know if you want it on like a different podcast service like SoundCloud, because I think SoundCloud is free. But also, if you want it on Spotify, then I guess you could go support Deja. Look at their Twitter. I link it in every description. Look at their Twitter. They have like a shop and stuff to buy art. Or you could go to my Twitch and donate there and be like, hey, this is for the podcast. Go put it on fucking Spotify. And be like, okay then. Thanks. I
can do it.
Oh my goodness. No. I have to cut it out. Okay? We're legitimately going to cut this part out. But yes. So if you want to have the podcast on Spotify, we would appreciate financial support in that regard. So that way we're not just kind of pouring money into this and,
I do that with enough stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like we don't like doing this, but we have enough hobbies we spend money on already that adding another one seems irresponsible.
Literally have to spend $500 on canvases.
But if everyone is okay with keeping it on YouTube like us, just let us know, and we are okay with that. So yeah, Deja, thanks for another great episode.
You're welcome.
You're a fun person.
I'll be here anytime.
Anytime?
That's a lie, but...
That's a lie.
I'll try.
You come here Mondays.
Every other Monday.
Every Monday. But, yep.
I'm sorry. This whole time I've just been having cramps. So.
It happened. But I think that cramps are a good place to leave it. So...
Everything's a cramp.
I'm sad I can't leave that joke in because the fucking washer went off again. This episode needs real ass editing. But yeah, see y'all next time. And remember, everything's a gun if you're brave enough. Bye.